Everyone, today we are going to understand IP addressing. IP addresses an internet protocol address in a numerical label assigned to each device connect to a computer network that use the internet protocol for communication. An IP addresses serve two main functions: host or network, internet identification or and location addressing. IP addresses are binary numbers but typically expressed in decimal from IPv4 or hexadecimal from IPv6 to make reading and using them easier for humans. How IP works? It is designed to work over a dynamic network. That means that IP must work without a central directory or monitoring, and that it cannot rely upon specific link or module existing. IP is a connectionless protocol that is datagram oriented, so each packet must contain the source IP address, destination IP address, and other data in the header to be successfully delivered. There are two versions of IP address: IPv4, which is 32-bit, IPv6, which is 128-bit. So now today we will talk about IPv4. Address. IPv4 address are actually 32-bit binary numbers consisting of the two sub-address mentioned, which respectively identified the network and the host of the network with an imaginary boundary separated the two. An IP address is as such generally shown as 4 octet of numbers from 0 to 255 represent in decimal form instead of binary form. For example, the address 168.212.226.204 represent the below 32-bit binary number. The binary number is important because that will determine which class of network the IP address belongs to. IPv4 was the first version deployed for the production in the ARPANET in 1983. IPv4 used a 32-bit address space which provide more than 4 billion unique address, but large blocks are reserved for a social networking method. Okay, now we will move to the classes. There are 5 classes in IPv4, which is class A, class B, class C, class D, class E. Which is class A start from 0 to 127, class B will start from 128 to 191, class C 192 to 223, class D 224 to 239, and class E 242 to 255. From here we are using class A, class B and class C. It is used for normal, which is we are using to connect the internet. In class A there is 8 network and 24 hosts. In class B there is 16 network and 16 hosts, and class C 24 network and 8 hosts. Let's talk about class A. In class A network, the first 8-bit or the first dotted decimal is the network port of the address, which is remaining port of the address being the host port of the address. There are 128 possible class A network, which is start from 0.0.0.0 to 127. However, only address that begins with 127 is considered a loopback address. For example, for a class A IP address 2.124.212.2 in a class B network, the first 16-bit are the network port of the address. All class B network have their first bit set to 1 to the second bit set to 0 in dotted decimal notation. That makes 128.0.0.0 to 192.255. As class B networks, there are 16,384 possible class B network. For example, class B IP address 135.58.24.17. Okay, now class C. In a class C network, the first 2 bits are set to 1 and the third bit is set to 0. That makes the first 24 bit of the address the network address and the remainder as the host address. Class C network address range from 192.0.0.0 to 223.255.255.0. There are over 2 million possible class C network. For example, class C IP address 192.168.178.1. Private network. The private networks are in class A 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255. Class B 172.16.0.0 to 172.32.255.255, and class C 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.0.255.255. Now we will talk about the special address. Certain IPv4 address are set aside for a specific user. It is loopback address, the host own interface. Next, 224.0.0.0, it is a IP multicast. And then last, 255.255.255.255, it is the broadcast sent to all interface on the network. Now we will talk about subnet mask, a single address identified both network and a unique interface on that network. A subnet mask can also be written in dotted decimal notation and determines where the network part of an IP address ends and host portion of the address begins. When expressed in binary and bit set to 1 means the corresponding bit in the IP address in port of the internet address, all the bits set to 0 mask to corresponding bit in the IP address as part of host address.